Every morning, you throw away potassium, real potassium. The same mineral they sell you in a $30 bag at the garden center. It is in your banana peel, your coffee grounds, your potato skin, and the gardening industry has spent decades making sure you never figured that out, because a garden that makes its own potassium stops buying theirs. Here is what they did not want you to know. Before we show you how it works, stay with us to the end. Because the third method, the liquid feed almost nobody uses, is the one that produced results we measured and then measured again because we did not trust the first reading. To understand why the peel works the way it does, you first need to understand the nutrient that the gardening industry almost never talks about and why your plants are almost certainly running short of it right now. Every gardener knows about nitrogen. Every gardening guide leads with it. Green leaves, fast growth, the number on the left side of the fertilizer bag. Phosphorus gets its moment too, roots and flowers, the middle number. But the third element, potassium, is the one the industry talks about least and the one your plants need most desperately to actually produce food. Potassium drives root development. It regulates water movement inside the plant. Every cell opening and closing in response to drought, heat, and disease depends on potassium to function. It is the mechanism behind disease resistance. It determines fruit size and sugar content. A tomato without adequate potassium is a pale, thin-skinned, flavorless thing. A tomato with adequate potassium is the one your neighbor keeps asking about. Here is the problem. Organic sources of potassium are genuinely difficult to find. Nitrogen is everywhere: compost, manure, cover crops, legumes. Phosphorus accumulates naturally in most garden soils. But potassium leaches. It washes through soil with every rainfall. In a raised bed watered regularly, the potassium deficit builds season after season. This is why commercial gardening guides tell you to keep buying the bag. What they do not mention is that most households produce a potassium source that rivals or outperforms those supplements and then put it in the bin. Walk into a garden where this method has been running for one season. It is October. Your neighbors stopped harvesting in August. This garden is still producing. The tomato plants are loaded, leaves dark green, the color that signals adequate potassium, not the pale yellow cast of starving plants. Pick one and feel the weight of it in your hand, the thickness of the skin, taste it. Sharp, complex, nothing like the watery version from the supermarket. All of that from what was sitting in the kitchen bin every morning. So what is actually inside the thing we throw away every morning, and why is it doing what a $30 bag of minerals cannot? Here is where the numbers start to matter. Peer-reviewed analysis of dried banana peel places potassium at approximately 8 to 10% of dry weight, which sounds modest until you realize that potassium leaches from garden soil with every watering and that most commercial organic supplements deliver it at similar concentrations for $30 a bag. The peel delivers it for nothing. Every peel you discard contains a mineral load that, applied correctly, would cost you several dollars to replicate from a commercial organic potassium supplement. The full profile goes beyond potassium. Banana peels contain meaningful concentrations of phosphorus relevant to root development and fruiting. They carry calcium, which strengthens cell walls and prevents blossom end rot in tomatoes and peppers. They provide manganese, a trace element that activates the enzymes driving photosynthesis. And they carry small but measurable amounts of nitrogen. Not enough to replace a nitrogen source, but enough to complete a soil amendment that covers most of what a fruiting plant needs through its peak production weeks. The reason this matters is that the potassium in a banana peel is water-soluble. It does not need years of composting to become plant available. Soak a peel in water for 2 weeks, and the water itself becomes a potassium solution that plant roots absorb directly. Bury a peel, and the decomposing organic material feeds the soil microbiology while the water-soluble minerals leach into the root zone within weeks. The delivery mechanism is built in. Research published across agricultural journals in Africa, Asia, and South America, where commercial fertilizer was expensive and kitchen waste was the primary available, amendment documented banana peel potassium transfer at rates comparable to soluble potassium fertilizer applications. The work sat in archives for decades. Nobody packaged it because nobody could sell it. The peel was already free. Now that you know what is inside it, here is how to get it into your soil 3 ways, each one more powerful than the last. There are 3 ways to use banana peels in the garden. They build on each other from effortless to genuinely impressive. Here is each one in order. The first method is the one that takes 30 seconds and costs nothing beyond changing one habit. When you transplant into a pot or a bed, drop a chopped banana peel into the hole before the plant goes in. Cover it, plant through it, water normally, The peel sits 6 inches below the root zone at planting and 3 to 4 inches below by the time the roots descend to it. As it decomposes over the following 4 to 6 weeks, potassium, phosphorus, and calcium leach upward into the root zone in exactly the growth window when a young plant needs them most at transplant shock and first flowering. No measuring, no mixing, no cost. But burying works slowly. What if you need the potassium now at flowering, at fruiting, at the moment the plant is drawing down reserves fastest? That is where the second method changes everything. The second method takes slightly more effort and produces a more concentrated, more controllable result. Dehydrate your peels completely, oven on low, a food dehydrator, or several days of direct sun in a warm climate. When the peel snaps and crumbles, it is ready. Grind it to a fine powder using a mortar and pestle or a cheap coffee grinder dedicated to the purpose. What you have is a dry organic potassium amendment with a nutrient density that commercial products charge significant money to replicate. Apply it 1 tablespoon per gallon of soil, worked into the top 2 inches before planting or side dressed around established plants at the start of fruiting. It stores indefinitely in a sealed jar. A month's worth of peels from one household produces enough to amend a 4x8 raised bed. Blend it with crushed eggshell for calcium supplementation or mix it with wood ash for a combined potassium and pH amendment that outperforms most commercial organic fertilizers on the shelf. The powder is powerful. But there is a third method that delivers the same minerals in hours instead of weeks, and it is the one we almost never see discussed outside of specialist farming communities. The third method is the one that produced results. We measured and then measured again because we did not trust the first reading. Fill a jar or bucket with banana peels, completely submerged in water at room temperature. Leave it for 2 to 3 weeks. Strain out the spent peels, which go into the compost, and what remains is a dark liquid that smells faintly fermented and looks like weak tea. This is your liquid potassium feed. Dilute it 1 part liquid to 1 part water and apply it directly to the soil around the base of your plants, or dilute it further 1 part to 4 parts water and use it as a foliar spray applied to the leaves in the early morning. Foliar feeding moves nutrients into the plant within hours rather than days. During the critical weeks around flowering and fruit set, when potassium demand spikes and soil reserves are being drawn down fastest, a weekly foliar application of this liquid is doing in real time what the bag of potassium supplement does over a month. It costs nothing to make. It took 2 minutes of active preparation, and the spent peels that were doing nothing as kitchen waste have become the most targeted nutrient intervention in the garden. Studies comparing organic potassium inputs, including fermented plant material, against commercial potassium sulfate applications have found yields within range of commercial applications, while soil biology metrics consistently favor organic inputs across every measure. Korean Natural Farming calls this principle FPJ fermented plant juice and documents 20 to 40% yield increases from regular applications in peer-reviewed trials. The banana peel liquid is a simplified version of that exact system. Free, repeatable, already sitting in your bin. By week 4 to 6 after burying a peel at transplant, plants begin showing darker, more saturated leaf color, the visual signal of adequate potassium. By flowering, if you are applying the liquid weekly, fruit set rates climb noticeably. By harvest, run a control bed, same seeds, same soil, same water, no peels, and let the numbers tell the story. We did, and we are still running this system 3 seasons later. A market gardener named Sarah in Kenya tested all 3 methods on her tomato plots in 2019. She buried peels at transplant, applied the powder at first flowering, and used the liquid weekly during fruiting. By harvest, her fruit set rate had climbed 17% above her untreated control rows. More importantly, she stopped buying potassium supplements entirely. She saves that $30 every month and uses it to buy seeds. The peel was already in the bin, she said. Nobody ever told me to look there instead of at the shelf. That last line is the one that should make you angry, because somebody did know, and they chose not to tell you. For decades, agricultural research documented banana peel potassium. That research came from Africa, Asia, South America regions where farmers could not afford the supplement aisle. The papers were published, peer-reviewed, solid, then they were buried, not censored, just never translated, never funded. Never promoted by any university or company that stood to profit from them. The moment a gardener stops buying supplements, they stop being a customer. So the information stayed in archives while the fertilizer aisle expanded. Not a conspiracy, economics, but the result is the same. You were never supposed to know. Sol POMAG, potassium sulfate, green sand, K-Mag branded potassium amendments run $15 to $40 for quantities that cover a small garden for one season. The markup on mined and processed potassium minerals is substantial. A garden that generates its own potassium from kitchen waste is a garden that has stopped buying theirs. That is the economic structure that determines which gardening information gets amplified and which stays in a database that nobody searches. Before you put this into practice, one thing is worth being straight about. Potassium is one macronutrient. Plants need nitrogen, phosphorus, and a full spectrum of micronutrients alongside it. A peel buried in depleted, biology-poor soil will decompose without producing the results described here. The peel is a supplement to a functioning soil system, not a replacement for one. Used inside a bed that already has reasonable organic matter and a nitrogen source, compost, aged manure, cover crops, these methods deliver measurable results. Used as the only amendment in dead soil, they will disappoint you. A garden that makes potassium from peels it was already throwing away is a garden that has stopped asking permission from the supplement aisle. Let us run the numbers one more time. A bag of commercial potassium sulfate runs $15 to $25 and covers one season. Add liquid potassium feed another $12 to $18. Over 10 years, that is $270 to $430 spent on a single nutrient from a single bed. The banana peel method costs nothing. The peels were already there. The jar was already in the cupboard. The peels go into the bin because nobody told you not to. Not because they are useless. Because useless peels do not compete with a $30 bag. You now know what they did not want you to know. What you do with that knowledge is up to you. Want to see another $0 method that Koreans use to triple their harvest? Click on it, and we'll see you soon in a new video.